Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on when you are listening to this video or where you're listening from. Hi, Regina Sanchez, your spiritual life and health coach, believing in you. Welcome this morning to my video podcast, giving you a fresh start. And I'm so excited that you're taking a few minutes to be with me this morning, or like I said, this afternoon or this evening. Grab yourself your favorite beverage. I have my cup of decaf coffee with my favorite half and half, and I'm going to go into that with the topic of our talk today. So put pause on the video, go get your favorite beverage, and come on back. Great. So today we're going to continue our conversation on building up your immune system. And one of the topics or the discussions that I want to cover with you is dairy. Why dairy? Because I think we really need to have an understanding what is happening to our dairy, and how it's become toxic. And what we don't realize is that our farmers, per the government, have really created a product that could be hazardous to our health. So I grew up drinking milk all the time. That was my favorite beverage. That was my favorite drink with every meal. Even in between meals, I just loved milk. And so, as a child, the dairy farmer would come. We had our milk box outside of the house, outside the door, on the porch. And, the farmer would come and deliver the milk that we needed. And it was so delicious. It had the cream at the top. Uh, just a great product. And so I think back in those days when I was younger, was there such a thing as lactose intolerance? Or were people having a difficult time drinking dairy? Having health issues once they drank dairy. I don't know. It doesn't sound like something I remember growing up. But maybe I don't know, all the truth back then. But it just seems that, maybe the past 20 years, drinking dairy for a lot of people is not good for them. So now they create products that are lactose free and so forth. And, in my opinion, why don't we just go back to the way God created milk to be produced, right? Instead of distorting our food. And I think we're going to find, interestingly enough, this past year and a half has been quite a challenge in a number of arenas. And as truth is starting to get exposed more and more, and it's not on mainstream media, so you're not getting any of that. It is sort of a new level of media that is rising up that you're going to need to seek out to find the truth in a lot of different things that have been going on with our government and with these three-letter organizations. So give it time. Hopefully mainstream media will pick it up. But we will also, I believe, we will find out how these manufacturers have distorted our food on a multitude of levels, and dairy being one of them. So I started, I'm going to say at least 20 years ago, drinking my dairy, or getting my dairy, all dairy, as organic, because I wanted to, at that point, not have the hormone, the growth hormone that was injected into cows, which was my main reason for drinking organic. But as I've done more and more studies on food, I've realized there were more reasons why I do organic milk. But much to my demise and much to my sadness, I found out a few years ago that organic milk isn't necessarily the best milk to drink. And I'm going to go into that, why. But why do you want to stay away from conventional milk? Well, the Journal of Agriculture and Food Chemistry has done a study, and they have found over 20 chemicals in our dairy products, our conventional dairy products. Those are growth hormones. There's steroids. There's antibiotic drugs, antifungal drugs, painkillers, anti-inflammatory medications, sex hormone medications, and heart medications. And those medications, and I have a list here, they're too difficult to even pronounce, but I am going to put this information in the link below, and you'll be able to download it and have that information for yourself and do your own research. I want to encourage you, don't believe me. Don't necessarily believe me. Just maybe take what I'm telling you and do some more research on it. And don't go to these 3-letter organizations for that research, okay? There are doctors out there. There are scientists out there that are coming forth with the truth about a multitude of things. But over 20 chemicals in our conventional milk. Why? Why did they give the cows growth hormones? To produce more milk. And what can those growth hormones do to you and me? Well, they could cause breast cancer, they could cause colon cancer, and they could cause prostate cancer. And think about our young girls now that are developing much quicker, right? Their menstrual cycle is picking up at a very young age. They're developing breasts at a very young age. Could that be all the hormones they're getting in the dairy products? It is absolutely something to totally think about. So a few years ago, I discovered another issue in the dairy products that it just so was discouraging on some level. I felt like, is this ever going to stop? Are they ever going to stop destroying our food? Like, let God's way, God created cows to produce so much milk, and let that be, right? Instead of injecting them with these hormones to produce more milk. And consequently, those hormones cause a shorter life in these cows. So, I don't know, maybe they get better money for their buck early on. But the other thing I found was something called ultra-pasteurization, or the pasteurization process in these dairy products. So I went maybe 2 or 3 years ago with my book club. We went on a field trip to a dairy farm, and about an hour away from my house. And we had a lot of fun. It was great. The dairy farmer it was a great dairy farm, and in the dairy farm, they had a little store that sold their dairy products as well as homemade chocolates. It was terrific. It was very delicious. But anyway, somebody bought a little pint or so of the milk and said, "Oh my gosh, you have to taste this." It was incredible. A taste I don't remember tasting. And why was it so delicious? It was not homogenized. So that meant that she had to take the little milk pint or whatever, she had a little glass bottle, shake it, because the cream had risen to the top. But once the cream got mixed in, the taste was just delicious. So I began to do a little more research, or maybe I uncovered some research. I don't know. I think Dr. Axe was maybe one of the first ones to expose this to me. But the whole pasteurization process. So now I'm buying dairy milk, and I'm buying, dairy half and half, because I love half and half in my coffee. And I'd been buying this organic line for a while. And I even found a line, I think it was Organic Valley, if I remember correctly. They had grass-fed cows, right? They weren't grain-fed. They were grass-fed roaming cows, organic milk. I was so excited. And sometimes I'd go into Whole Foods and they didn't have any, and I was so disappointed. But I was so excited to just have this grass-fed, right? They're not grain-fed. Cows are meant to eat the grass, okay? okay? But so I had been buying it for a while. And then I read something that Dr. Axe had put out on, I think it was a detox program he had or something. And so he was talking about various food groups. And one of them was dairy. And he talked about the pasteurization, and that we need to be careful about ultra pasteurized dairy products. So I thought, okay. I went to the store again when I had to go buy the milk, because I only use, the dairy products in my, well, no, at that time I was still doing the half and half. So I did have the half and half in my refrigerator, and I look at it, and lo and behold, it's ultra pasteurized. I thought, no, there goes my milk, or my half and half. And so I went to the store again, to buy my groceries. And I looked, I stood at the dairy refrigerated section for so long, just looking at every option. And there were no options. There were no options for half and half that was not ultra pasteurized. So I stopped drinking half and half, disappointedly, and I would use milk, organic milk that was not ultra pasteurized. And I have to tell you, that even was hard to find. But and then it comes in this very big container that I never get through it, because I only put it, sometimes I'll bake with it, or sometimes I cook a recipe with it, but it doesn't require a lot. And then, I barely put any in my coffee, so I would not drink the amount of milk that I would get. So I learned to freeze it. And I, actually, I'm going to turn here to my freezer here. And this is milk. And I freeze it in a little mason jar. I think this is a pint. And make sure you only go about 3/4 of the way, and stick it in the freezer. And then when I'm ready to use it, I defrost it, and it's perfect. It works perfectly. But this way, I don't have to throw away the milk that I'm not using. I can freeze it. So that works great. So why do we want to be concerned about pasteurization? Well, the best way to drink our milk is raw. And I have not done a study or done any research to find out why all of a sudden raw milk is a demon. But raw milk is the best way to get it, because it's not heated. The enzymes, vitamins, and minerals are completely intact in that milk. But our second best, and raw milk is very hard to get. I did go to a store not far from here in West Hartford, a little shop in a chiropractic office that she has a little market, and in there I went to go get the best sausage from a local farmer, raises grain, grass-fed pigs, and makes the best pork sausage I've ever had. So I went in there to get my pork sausage, and I look around to see what's for sale, and in the refrigerator was raw milk. I thought, wow, I've never had raw milk. Maybe I did as a child, I don't know, but never as an adult. So I bought it. It was delicious. It worked great in my coffee. I loved it. But I went back subsequently a couple of weeks later, because I think I bought a quart of it. And like I said, I don't use it quickly enough, so I froze it. Actually, I think this little jar here is part of that. But I was back down that way again, so I went to go get some more milk, and they didn't have any. They only had it available for the people that pre-order. all the time. And I was disappointed. And she said, well, the farmer told me that's all that they could produce, which just was such common sense to me. Produce, you only can get so much out of the cow, and that's it. So I didn't get any raw milk from them, but at another time I'll go back and I'll check it out, and or maybe start placing orders. I'm not sure, but raw milk, no heat. You want that. That is your safest way to drink milk. Now, the next level up is called low temperature pasteurization, and that's pasteurized at about 140, 145 degrees. It leaves the protein in the milk intact when it's heated. And because it's heated at a low temperature, it's slowly heated. So it keeps all the proteins, vitamins, minerals, and whatever intact. The next temperature, once you start getting to 150, they say the enzymes die and the proteins denature. They break up. They become, what's the word? I want to say insoluble or whatever. They're not there anymore. Next level is high temperature pasteurization, which is pasteurized at about 161 degrees. This temperature is considered dangerous. It kills all the enzymes, much of the microorganisms that we need. It breaks down the proteins. And this milk is more difficult for you and I to digest. Okay, does that sound like maybe why we're starting to have a problem with dairy? Then ultra pasteurization, which is most of our dairy, even our organic, is dangerous. And it is heated at 280 degrees. It has killed all potentially, it kills all potentially harmful bacteria in the milk, but it damages all the vitamins, minerals, and any nutrient that you would get from that milk. It has totally destroyed it. It's gone. What's the point of drinking it? We drink and eat food to nourish our bodies, right? I mean, I know as a society, we have kind of used food for entertainment, to feel good, to feed an addiction. But that's not what God gave us food. He gave us food to enjoy and to replenish and nourish our body with vitamins, minerals, and give it the health it needs. Build our immune system. So, how disappointed I was when I saw that my half and half was ultra pasteurized. I thought, oh gosh. So I stopped. And I stopped buying it, and I was using milk, and I'm telling you, that was very hard to find organic milk that wasn't ultra pasteurized. But then I found a farmer close to me, maybe 20 minutes away. I had to go, and I would buy half gallon and freeze it, and I was using that in my coffee. Now, I wasn't enjoying my coffee as much as I would if I had half and half, but I was enjoying it. Then, lo and behold, actually the woman farmer at this one particular farm in Suffield, Connecticut, I can't remember the name of it. I'm sorry. But she actually told me about another farmer in Enfield, Connecticut that actually makes half and half. So, lo and behold, I went and visited the farmer and bought half and half. Now, this is not half and half. Actually, this is heavy cream. It's Smith's Trinity Farm. That's the farm. This is actually heavy cream because I am making a quiche today. So I have my heavy cream, but I also, I have their half and half, which is what is in my coffee. I am enjoying my coffee immensely these days because I do have the half and half. And their milk is low pasteurized, like at 130, 140 degrees, and it's non-homogenized. So the cream rises to the top, and I have to remember to shake it. Or sometimes I let it rise to the top and I just scoop out that little cream. Actually, before I discovered the farm with the half and half that I could get, I would let the cream rise to the top and scoop it and put it in my coffee. And sometimes when you use non-homogenized, dairy in your hot beverage and you pour it in, it looks like it's curdling. And you think, oh no, it's spoiled. But just give it a couple of stirs and it blends in, it mixes in. It's just the cream that kind of, broke away from the rest of the milk. Because if it's bad, if it's curdled, it won't mix. It'll stay curdled, and then you'll know. Don't drink it, right? So that's something to consider. Look at your dairy products. Number one, if you are drinking ultra pasteurized dairy, I highly consider doing your own research to understand what's going on, and maybe consider finding a local farmer that you could get your dairy products from. I know this particular farmer here in Enfield, they do butter. They did have eggs. They make chocolate milk, heavy cream, half and half, whole milk. It's terrific. Now, one other thing that I found of interest, I haven't done a lot of study on this and a lot of research to see how I can find it, but new research has come out that one of the other issues with milk is called casein. And most of our dairy products is casein 1, A1 casein. And you really want A2 casein, because they say A1 casein is about 26 more times inflammatory than gluten. So people that are intolerant to gluten, their body becomes inflamed. Well, that's what this A1 casein seems to do. And the reason is, because they have mutated different brands of cattle that have caused this A1 casein. And there's a genetic flaw in these cows. So you really want, if you can, and it's hard to find, A2 casein milk. Those cattle, they say, are from Asia, Africa, and the Middle East. Those breeds of cattle. I think I have seen in Whole Foods A2 casein milk. I'm not sure. And I haven't done a lot of research on that. Just understanding, some of it. A2 casein milk can be found in Jersey cows, but it's the protein in the cattle and in the dairy products that are more healthier for you. So I hope you found this to be of help to you. I hope you find this to be informative and maybe get you thinking about your dairy products, right? About your yogurts, about your cheeses, and about the milk that you're feeding your children. I highly, highly recommend that you definitely stay away from conventional milk and that at least go to organic. But if you're going to go to organic, at least consider a low level pasteurization. And I think what you would see, it would just say pasteurized. It definitely says ultra pasteurized when it's pasteurized at that higher level. So I hope you find this helpful. Look forward to the topic for next week. I'm not sure what I'm going to be speaking on, but below is a link that you will be able to download some of the information to give you something to maybe take off on and do your own research and look at. I'm going to list those chemicals and those drugs that are in the dairy products, in the conventional dairy products, and Google those and look at each of those chemicals and find out what the side effects of those chemicals are. You might find that they're alarming. So click the link below, you'll get the download. Hit subscribe so that you can be informed of my videos. I am on Rumble. I did start loading on YouTube. I'm not sure how long I will last because YouTube is censoring very much anything to do with healthful living, a high censored venue. So I did decide to go on there. I have posted my videos on there, so you could find me there. It's giving you a fresh start is the series that I'm speaking on, and I hope you will join me. And also, I'm on I don't want to say on every podcast. There's so many new podcasts out there, but you can find me on iTunes. You can find me on iHeart. You can find me on Amazon Music, if you prefer listening to podcasts. But just click on those links and go to do search, giving you a fresh start, and you find me. But if you subscribe, then once something is uploaded, you will be sent that notification that there's something new. So I just thank you for taking the few minutes to chat with me, to listen to what I have to say. I hope you find it beneficial. My heart is to just expose what's been happening to our food systems and help you, just build a strong immune system and help you live healthy. So thanks again for listening. I hope you have a great day. Thanks.